there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I have been asked a lot lately how I display my watercolor paintings for sale. Well, I'm going to show you. Here's the easiest way. When I do a watercolor card, I simply just put it in a clear bag. I get them at Paper Mart. You can find them at www.papermart.com. I put a little tag with a price in the back that can be removed, and then it's there ready to go. It can be handled and it's not going to be damaged. Any extra cards that don't fit on that board, I put right in this basket. It's so easy, and all you need here is an old frame and some clothespins. Very, very easy. The clear bags also come in larger sizes, which is really handy for displaying your paintings for sale. So what I have here is a print rack that my husband made. It was made out of wooden dowels, you can kind of see there. And then I put a piece of canvas in it, and then my paintings can be easily flipped through. So these larger bags are great for this. So here's one of the 16 by 20 bags as is on the back. It's got some nice white paper so it looks nice and neat. And then my price is in the back on my business card. But if you have a painting that's not quite that size, it's so easy to deal with. All you have to do is just kind of fold over your plastic bag and tape it down, and it still looks custom. So you can get by with just getting a couple of sizes of bags. Although I will say, if you have a bunch of friends that you can split an order with, Paper Mart offers a 15% discount on orders of the clear bags over $200. And they do have the best prices. I've been painting for many years and shopping around, and you can't beat Paper Mart's prices on the clear bags. And I'll put a link to that below the video so you can check those out. So let's go to the table. I'm going to show you how to mat a watercolor or any other work on paper. I'm going to show you how to finish the bag, price it, and put it in the bags. So let's go to the table and I'll show you how it's done. Let's take a look at the clear bags. I like them in several sizes. My favorites would be the 6x9, and that's how I display my watercolor cards. I just put them in here with their envelope, seal them on the back. I have a little label with my price on it. It just makes packaging these really easy, and people can handle them, and I can, move them around and they don't get damaged in transport, and that shows. So that's so important for me. The two sizes I like to use the most for packaging my matted watercolors would be the 11x14 and the 16x20. And the reason I like this is because if I have got a painting that's kind of in between the sizes, after I put it in, I can always fold over the back and just secure it with a little tape, and that way it still looks custom, but I don't have to keep 10 different sizes around, because they come in packs of 500, so they do take up quite a bit of space. I apologize for the glare on this. My overhead lights, there's no way to really help it. But to cut a mat for our painting, I'm going to show you how to do that really quick. The first thing you're going to want is a piece of cardboard or foam core or something on your table, for two reasons. You don't want to cut on a self-healing mat because it's going to provide too much drag, and it's going to be really hard to get a nice crisp cut, and it's going to dull your blades. So you want a piece of cardboard or foam core down. You're going to need a yardstick, something to cut against, and you're going to need a straight cutter. Now I like either these straight cutters with the snap-off blades. You can get at any hardware store or dollar store, or if you want to be fancy, or if you're going to do a lot, you may want to invest on the in the straight cutter. This is model 701. It's a Logan product, and it's just it's very easy because you hold it against the blade and you just pull back, and you can really get a lot of leverage. So this is really great if you just need that little extra bit of elbow grease for cutting your mat board, because mat board is very dense and can be difficult to cut. Now the other thing you absolutely have to have a nice, pretty, perfect beveled cut would be a beveled mat cutter, and I've had this for almost 20 years, I'd say. It's fabulous. It is the Logan push style mat cutter, and the great thing is these take the same blade. So I bought like a huge box of blades in bulk probably 15 years ago, and I still have tons left. And this is a model 2000. It's the push style mat cutter by Logan. I paid about $20 for it. It may be more now, maybe, but I don't think it's more than 30. So it's not too expensive to get into cutting your own mats this style. The benefit of doing your own like this rather than buying a mat cutter, which usually consists of a straight edge with this attached to it and this attached to it, is that you can go any size you want. You don't have to get a huge mat cutter, because they have like an upwards of size that you can cut to. Like it might only be 16x20 or 20x30 or something. So this you can cut whatever size you want, keeping it freehand like this. So it's not hard to do. I'm going to show you how. So I began by cutting my mat board. This is just a piece of white mat board. I cut it down to 11x14 with my straight edge already. Now I'm going to look at my picture here, and I'm going to see how much of a border I want for my mat. So what I can do here is just measure what I have left. I have almost 2 inches there, so I'd want each border there to be about 1.25 inches, and I'll just write that down on my mat board. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure the top, and I've got 2 inches again. So this time I'd like to have my bottom border a little bit wider, so I'm going to go 1.25 inches up here. Now I could do 1.25 inches on the bottom. That's kind of like if you bottom mat, it would be all even, but I like to have the bottom a little bit thicker. It looks more custom, so I'll go 1.5 inches at the bottom, and it just gives a little visual weight, and it looks a little bit nicer and more professional. If you want to keep your borders equal, that is fine, but I'm just telling you that because it will make it look a little bit nicer. So now I just go in and I measure. So I put a little mark here at 1.25 inches. I love this yardstick, by the way. It was from a hardware store. It's Master Mechanic brand. It's great because you can't nick it when you cut up against it with a blade. So that is great. I always nick my wooden yardsticks. So 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, and then you're just going to draw a border. You measure the other sides the exact same way. Okay, now that I have my border drawn, this is where I like to double check. And what I do is I set my picture here and I say, okay, so I want to make sure that my picture is not going to fall through the hole because that has happened before. So just taking a couple seconds to double check that the square you've drawn is a little bit smaller than your picture really will save you some time and aggravation. So now to cut your mat, you want to take your straight edge and put it to the left of the line you're going to cut, because your blade is going to kind of come in like that way at an angle, so you want that beautiful angle to show from the front. We're working on the back side. And then you take your mat cutter, and there's a little mark here. It's a little silver mark for lining things up. You want to line that right up to the border that you drew. Okay, line that up good, and press your blade in. So your blade is just jabbed into the mat board. And then you're going to really put a lot of pressure down on this. So, you know, if you have strength issues, a mat cutting machine may be a little bit better for you. I can hold this down well myself, so freestyle cutting is best for me. But because like when you're using a mat cutting machine, it clamps it down for you. So if you do have an issue there, you might want to consider investing in a mat cutting machine. But I would try to see if you could try one out at the store before you bought one, just to see if it really is worth it. All right, we're going to do the same thing all the way around. We line up our little cutter, and down the line we go. Make sure you take your time lining up your ruler, lining up your cutter so that the little line matches up, and cut it across. If you were trying to cut this on a self-healing mat, it would fight the mat too much. It would want to stab into the mat, and it would be really hard to push. So you want to make sure you just use a old piece of cardboard or foam core for your cutting surface, and it will save your tables too. All right, so now we have our mat cut, just like that, and now we're going to put it together with our painting. All right, now the fun begins. We get to mat the painting. So here's our mat. Remember, the bottom side was a little bit thicker. So we're going to just set that down on there, and generally you're just going to center it up. So when you flip it over, your picture's pretty much gonna be right in the middle. And then you want to use some fabric tape to tape it down. And you know what I use? I'll use the sports tape, just the fabric tape from the drugstore. It's very inexpensive and it's very easy to remove. However, it stays put when you stick it down. So it's a really great tape to use. And you can order specialty tapes from the art supply store. And then after I have this in the on there like that, then I want to cover the back, and what I like to use for that, I take my little glue glider here, and just on the edge of the mat I put a strip of adhesive, and then I take some acid-free paper. This is just like your 11 by 17 typing paper you can find at the office supply store. It's not very expensive, and I just put that right on the back, just like so. Flip her over, and then I can just trim off the excess. And then the toughest part of this is honestly pricing your work, I think, because then you need to take a business card, and I like to write in pencil just in case this is a gift and somebody wants to give it to somebody, then they can do that. So I'm going to put $22 on that painting, and I am going to put it in a clear bag. So here's my 11 by 14 clear bag, and when you put it in, you want to put it so the painting is facing the lip tape side. So slide it in like that, And you don't want to remove the little adhesive strip until after you have this in, or you might get it stuck to your painting, and that's not what you want. You want to put in your business card on the back, remove the tape there, fold it over, and Bob's your uncle. Isn't that pretty? It looks so professional, and then all you have to do is put it in your painting rack and you're all set for the craft show or the art festival. If you like this video, please check out Paper Mart. You can find them at www.papermart.com. Don't forget to tell them Lindsay sent you. They make you look even better. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.